Okay, so let's start. Good morning and welcome to the Tuesday morning uh, gathering for mindfulness brought to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare and Tufts Health Plan. My name is Greg Topakian, and it is absolutely my pleasure to be here with you this morning to have a chance to practice mindfulness together and to explore how practicing mindfulness can actually help us live our lives. It's not just an academic endeavor, it's something that can really help us. So, again, welcome and really appreciate this opportunity to be here with you. As we usually do, before I uh, offer the question to you, I've been asked to inform you about a new course that the Mind Mind the Moment staff is offering to you. Uh, it's free and it's called Healthy Habits to Get the Most Out of Every Moment. It's a 4-week session, uh, Wednesday afternoons in September from 1 to 1:30. The sessions will be led by Kel Juilliard, many of whom you know and enjoy working with, a great teacher, who will be exploring with you practices designed to help you feel energetic, vital, and confident. All are welcome. It's free. And the link in the chat is how you can find out more information. And of course, you can always contact the Mind the Moment staff as well. Should be a great course. So, as we usually do in these sessions, um, we offer you a question to contemplate, which sort of is the theme of the day. And the question is patience a worthwhile skill to cultivate? And how does that happen? How do we do it? Uh, we can't just push a button and says, yes, today I'm going to be more patient. So how does the skill of patience get cultivated? How does it become more likely to arise in difficult situations? And Karen hits on it right away. Patience takes practice. Absolutely. And that's why we call it a skill, right? It's not just a genetic predisposition. Some of us are more inclined to patience and others not. So it goes, tough luck or good luck. It's a skill that can be developed. It's an inclination of mind that can be cultivated. It's a valuable skill. However, I find it challenging to do. Learning to pause and not instantly reacting helps. Here, here. Yeah, so welcome to the human race. It's challenging for most of us. But the question is, can we work with it? And the answer is overwhelmingly yes. There are things that we can do that make it more likely for patience to arise when we're in the midst of something challenging. So I have another question for you, and please, if your responses to the chat question are still percolating, feel free to enter something at any time during this time together. But I have another question for you. Does life always give you what you wanted, what you hoped for, what you expected, what you think you deserve? And I'm going to take a big risk here and suggest that it doesn't. Welcome to life. And that's normal. The question is, what happens next when that happens? What happens when life presents something that is a little irritating to us, frustrating even, maybe even angering, disappointing at least? For many of us, our first tendency is to suppress or hide away from the uncomfortable feelings. For some of us, we turn to self-medication. For others, we involve in rumination, trying to figure out why it happened or what we did to deserve this disappointment. Others of us, the go-to reaction is to get frustrated, irritated, angry. And even for some of us, it's to act out aggressively or with some hostility in our speech or actions. We know this. If not in ourselves, we see it in others. And the question is there another way? And the evidence suggests there is. We can work with the mind. We can train the mind to learn to respond to disappointment and irritation so it is less frustrating. So there's this emotional piece of it. We can work with the mind so when challenging emotions arise, we can meet them with what we call emotional intelligence. And secondly, we can work with the mind to help us to learn how to restrain. Someone used the word take a mindful pause this morning. We can work with the mind to train it to take wise restraint so we don't act out in unhelpful ways. So these are very practical applications of our mindfulness practice. So let's just remind ourselves what we're talking about here when we talk about patience. It's the ability to stay calm in the midst of a challenging experience, to be accepting, to see the big picture, perhaps, to tap into composure, and to restrain ourselves if we're in touch with impulses that perhaps might be unhelpful. And I think we all know the benefits of cultivating mindfulness, cultivating patience, I'm sorry. Mental health benefits, physical health benefits, our relations with others, our capacity to take on long-term projects and not require instant gratification, and to sit with the big unresolved questions of life. What's going to happen? Will I be all right? Will my family be okay? Will the country be okay? Will the world be okay? To sit with that without getting all worked up. Before we engage in a practice in the next minute, I'd just like to say that patience is not about being passive, not about resigning ourselves to disappointment, and neither is it about developing a steely will, gritting our teeth, clenching our fists. And it's not about just establishing an idle hope that things will be different just because we hope they will be. The cultivation of patience is an active practice to train the mind to engage in more helpful ways when we're in the midst of something disappointing. And as we engage in this practice this morning, I'd just like to remind us all of the three key aspects of mindfulness: awareness, noticing what's happening, without judgment. So whatever we see, we accept that it's there. And thirdly, that we elicit this mindful response on purpose with intention. Okay, so let's jump into practice. So I'll invite you now to find a comfortable position for yourself. That might mean closing your eyes if you're comfortable with that, to help turn your attention inward, noticing sensations of the body, noticing how you can alter the sitting posture to help promote ease in the body, relaxation in the body, to help settle the body down. The spine is relatively straight, neck relatively straight. Finding a way to sit and to hold the body so it's relatively effortless. Looking for that balance between relaxation and alertness, being awake. You can roll your shoulders forward and back. Let the head bob forward and back. You can allow the chin to turn to the right shoulder very gently. Back to center. And now chin to the left shoulder, very gently. Back to center. And I don't know about you, but even these minor motions, I feel them. I notice sensations in the body. And it's being aware of those sensations, which is bringing us into the present moment. And now perhaps to select a target for you to direct your attention to. For many of us, it's the breath, but it could be the hands touching, the sensation of contact your feet make with the floor, something very basic, ordinary, something safe, someplace easily accessible to you. And now with a mind and body that's perhaps a little more settled, I'll invite you to call up a recent episode in your life when life did not deliver as you had hoped it would. You didn't get what you wanted. Someone didn't treat you the way you felt you should be treated. Disappointment arose. Maybe a little irritation, frustration. Perhaps you felt an impulse to blame or get angry, to vent. So we're just reviewing that the episode in the YouTube video of your mind, letting it run to the end. And now we're going to push the rewind button. Let it rewind all the way to the beginning. And in a moment, we're going to edit this episode with mindfulness in a way to cultivate patience. This is how we train the mind. This is how we learn a new skill, by practicing. Okay, so let's push the slow motion button on that recorder in the mind. And that same episode is beginning to unfold. We got stuck in traffic. We got put on hold. Someone didn't speak to us the way we thought they should. We didn't get what we wanted. Life. And at the very first instant that you notice irritation or frustration arising, I'd like you to push the pause button. Because the first step, cultivating patience, is the awareness piece of mindfulness. Recognizing the telltale sensations of irritation. They're different for each one of us. You might be getting revved up. The fist might be clenching. Heart might be beating faster. Whatever it is for you. You might notice the thoughts. Now, there's a difference between noticing thoughts and getting lost in thoughts. We're playing this in slow motion. What thoughts are coming up? Life isn't fair. I deserve better. So-and-so always treats me that way. And we might notice certain impulses to speak or act in certain ways, to get back at someone or to get back at life. Can we see how important it is to recognize these early signals? We're not awake. We don't notice them. They'll soon take over completely. Second step, again, based on mindfulness, it's the without judgment. Can we actually accept that irritation has arisen? So it's not simply, oh, that's cool, or whatever. It's no, I can feel that in the body. I'm upset. No judgment about it, right? To get irritated, to not get what you want, normal human experience. The emotion of anger, normal. Can we accept that it's true? Can we take it as a signal? And we learn. So the second step, accept that it's true. No judgment. Third step, can we exercise mindful patience? Can we exercise what's sometimes called wise restraint? So now we're distinguishing the emotion from some possible unhelpful behavior. Is it possible to feel irritated without venting, without acting out with aggressiveness, hostility? And to help with that, sometimes we have to really direct the mind to turn attention away from the person who or the situation that caused us harm. So two practices that I like, one's called exaggerated breathing. So having noticed irritation, having accepted that it's truly there, And now, training the mind to exercise wise restraint, I practice exaggerated breathing, where perhaps you inhale to a count of 3 or 4, and then exhale to a count of 4 or 5, slightly longer than the inhale if you can. So we're really directing attention to our breathing to help offset that impulse. Exaggerated breathing, inhaling to a count of 3 or 4, exhaling to a count of 4 or 5. Or another practice, sequentially turning your attention to each of the sense organs. What am I hearing right now? What am I smelling? Are there lingering tastes in the mouth? What sensations are present in the body? This is helping mind and body act in a restrained way to prevent further harm to oneself and others. And finally, fourth step, to offer kindness to ourselves. Some suggestions to remind yourself that you're really going to allow yourself to take the time and space to take care of yourself. You're allowed 1 minute to do this. Perhaps to call up the memories of all the people who want the best for you, who have compassion for you. In the next minute, perhaps to repeat these 4 steps for yourself. And it's a practice. First, recognize the initial onset of irritation or frustration. What are the physical sensations? What are the thoughts? What are the impulses? To accept that it's true, not to bury it. Exercise wise restraint. So we're cutting that link between the emotion, which is just a signal to us, cutting the link from that emotion to any harmful behavior. And 4, to offer kindness, to remind ourselves it's important to allow ourselves the time to take care. You can make this a part of your practice. You can cultivate the habit of patience. I'll count backwards from 3, and when I get to 1, I'll invite you to reopen your eyes and come back to the group. Enter something in the chat box if you'd like. 3, 2, 1. What's your experience with this practice? Can you find time for it in your life? Do you believe patience could help? Thank you, tomorrow. Yeah, patience is hard. It's hard. It's not, for most of us, our go-to habit, is it? But I just want to assure you, and the science supports this with evidence. You've heard of the word neuroplasticity. We can alter how the mind functions. The types of mental activities we engage in help us to learn new habits. Yeah, thank you, Anna. I really like the statement of thinking of people who have compassion for you, right? There are a lot of people out there who want the best for us. Maybe that just cuts the edge off that irritation a little bit, right? Look it's normal in life to not get what we want sometimes. Normal to feel disappointed, even a little irritated. Can we notice and work with it, right? It's what happens next. Yes, thank you for your honesty, Ashley. Yeah, disappointments and wanting to throw in the towel. I get it. Yeah. And so can we notice that with patients and not to do a job on ourselves for it, right? Notice the negative self-talk. Okay, there you are again. I see you. But I'm looking for a new way. I'm looking to cultivate more helpful ways. And we begin again. So thank you for your time. Maybe if we could just have a moment of silence before we end together, if you still have a minute. So I'll invite you to close your eyes, turn your attention to sensations in the body, coming into the present moment. May we all allow ourselves the time to practice, to cultivate the mind, new habits, to help us live our life with more grace and effectiveness and caring. Thank you for your practice, and it's really been great to work with you this morning. Take care. Thank you. Thank you. Yep, I see some names I recognize. Nice to see you. Nice to work with you. Thank you. Now I just have to remember how to turn it off. Oh, there we go.